This is my spoiler review for Welcome to Derry episode 7. If you haven't seen episode 7 and don't want to be spoiled, then come back after you've seen it. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack here. We see a flashback during the beginning of the episode showing us Bob Gray and his daughter Ingrid's relationship, and him being the carnival clown entertainer he was. Bob Gray is shown to be the complete opposite of what the it version of Pennywise is. He was a kind father who loved performing and wanted to return to the circus business. He unfortunately draws the attention of the it entity, which watches from afar, whom is fascinated by him and wanting to use him as a means of luring kids. We don't see what happens to him, but it later reveals during the episode that he consumed Bob and is now using his deceased body as a vessel for its various 27-year cycles. We see Ingrid get her comeuppance after she realizes that Pennywise is not really her father, and she becomes paralyzed by the entity's deadlights, a poetic and satisfying fate for her since she caused the black spot incident and also caused the deaths of so many children. Despite the fact that Ingrid was merely a pawn to it, the entity still seemed to have a respect for her, which is why we see in the It chapter to movie, it using an older version of her as a disguise. During the infamous scene in that film where Beverly visited the old house where her father used to live, and obviously, with Pennywise not killing Ingrid, we can imagine that she most likely lives to be old, therefore explaining why it knew what old appearance to take, and also took mannerisms from her in general. Anyway, during this episode we also see the death of Ingrid's abusive husband, Stan, who is killed by Pennywise with a butcher knife, it using a weapon and giving him that violent death gave off Art the Clown vibes and makes me think it was an intentional homage to that other killer clown character. Like I said in my spoiler-free review, episode 7 has so much carnage, which includes that violent scene with Stan and Pennywise. Also, we sadly lose one of the main kid characters, that being Rich. He was a MVP sacrificing himself to save Marge during the burning of the black spot. This series has showcased that none of the characters are safe, and the non-existent plot armor is more apparent here. Another thing I want to talk about is the reveal of the military's true intentions for wanting to track down the pillars keeping Pennywise in Derry. It turns out that General Shaw doesn't want to capture the alien entity, but rather unleash it upon the world because he wants to end racism and all other conflicts in the US, which he believes could cause another civil war. This revelation was completely baffling to me. Francis' mentality is completely insane, especially since he had first-hand experience as a kid facing Pennywise. I know that people change over time and their ideologies can be warped, but still this whole plan is just stupid because Pennywise could end up destroying the entire world in an apocalyptic fashion because it is a rabid creature that doesn't have boundaries. This episode makes me hate the military occupying Derry, and I hope they face consequences for their actions. We see Dick Halloran finally use his shining abilities to communicate with ghosts so he could help save the survivors of the black spot incident, and I'm curious how he could help in the upcoming final episode against it, who now knows it is free to leave Derry and extend its feeding cycle across the United States and potentially the whole planet. I really enjoyed this episode, which is why I gave it an 8 out of 10 in my spoiler-free review, but I still had issues with the reveals towards the end of the episode involving the whole military plot line. I was really intrigued by it during the beginning of this series, but now it's become a bit disappointing and convoluted, at least in my opinion. Hopefully episode 8 will make it all better executed, but right now, I don't really like how the way they've handled it. I don't mind the idea of Pennywise being able to possibly cause havoc to the rest of the world, therefore raising the stakes, but there could have been better ways of having that happen, whether using the military or not. These issues don't ruin the episode for me nor the show as a whole. I'm just nitpicking. Anyways, I hope the finale episode is gonna deliver on the story and quality.